What if the boy who lived became the very thing he was sworn to destroy? For 7 years, the entire wizarding world placed its hope in a hero, a boy defined by loss and destiny. But what if they were wrong? What if the constant trauma, the endless fighting, and the weight of the world on a child's shoulders didn't create a savior? What if, instead, it created a monster? Harry's whole life was a quest for power. The power to survive the Dursleys, the power to protect his friends, the power to fight back against the darkness we saw his victories and called it goodness. But what if that thirst for power wasn't about being good, but about being in control? This isn't the story of a hero's journey. This is the story of a terrifying psychological shift, a fall into villainy that didn't start with a flash of green light, but with a quiet, calculated thought in the mind of a very angry, very lonely boy. This is how Harry Potter, fueled by a righteous fury, became a Dark Lord more cunning, more believable, and far more dangerous than Voldemort could ever dream of being. It all boils down to a single choice. We all remember the Sorting Hat, how it saw Harry's potential and whispered about the greatness he could find in Slytherin. In the story we know, Harry, fresh off his first real friendship with Ron Weasley, panics and begs the hat, "Not Slytherin, not Slytherin." But in this story, something's different. The abuse from the Dursleys was a little worse. The hunger was a little sharper. The loneliness in his cupboard under the stairs was a little more absolute. This Harry doesn't just arrive at Hogwarts with wonder in his eyes. He arrives with a burning resentment in his gut. He sees the magical world not as an escape, but as the source of power he was denied for 10 miserable years. So when the hat whispers of Slytherin, of ambition and greatness, this Harry hears the promise of control. He thinks of Dudley, of Uncle Vernon, of being locked away and forgotten. He thinks of a life defined by weakness, and in that one moment, the desire to never be weak again burns brighter than anything else. He doesn't beg, "Not Slytherin." He says nothing at all. He just lets the hat see the truth in his heart, a desperate, all-consuming need to finally control his own life. The hat, sensing this raw ambition, this will to survive at any cost, makes its choice. "Slytherin," it roars. And just like that, the hero's path vanishes, and a highway to darkness opens wide. The Slytherin common room is cold and submerged beneath the black lake, but Harry finds the green light soothing. Here, ambition isn't a dirty word, it's a badge of honor. He doesn't have to pretend he isn't hungry for more. Draco Malfoy, who could have been his rival, now sees Harry as the ultimate status symbol, the boy who lived, a Parselmouth in the House of Snakes. Malfoy and his goons, Crabbe and Goyle, quickly become his first followers, drawn to his fame. Harry, who's never had friends, mistakes their fawning for real loyalty. His relationship with Ron and Hermione is dead on arrival. Ron sees the Slytherin colors and immediately writes him off, blinded by his family's prejudice. Hermione tries to stay friends, but she's unnerved by Harry's new, colder personality and the company he keeps. This just pushes Harry deeper into the Slytherin fold, convincing him that only the ambitious will accept him. The first real test is the Mirror of Erised. In our timeline, Dumbledore finds Harry gazing at the family he never knew. This Harry sees something else. His parents are there, yes, but they're standing behind him like royal guards. He's holding a wand, not as a student, but as a ruler. He sees the Dursleys kneeling before him, terrified. His deepest desire isn't just family, it's the power to punish those who hurt him and make sure no one ever can again. When he confronts Quirrell, the whole dynamic changes. He doesn't see a monster. He sees a weak man clinging to a greater power, and he feels contempt. When Voldemort's voice offers him the Philosopher's Stone, promising to bring his parents back, the temptation is overwhelming. For a split second, he considers it. The only thing that stops him is the realization that accepting the offer means bending his knee. And Harry Potter will never, ever be a servant again. He fights Quirrell not for heroism, but out of a furious refusal to be a pawn. He discovers he can burn Voldemort's vessel with his bare hands, and the feeling is intoxicating. Later, in the hospital wing, his talk with Dumbledore isn't a heart-to-heart. It's a cross-examination. Harry coldly asks Dumbledore why he was left with the Dursleys. Dumbledore talks about blood wards and the greater good. Harry just hears excuses. He sees Dumbledore not as a protector, but as the chess master who sacrificed a pawn. Another powerful man who controlled his life. He smiles and thanks his headmaster, but inside, a vow takes root. He will learn the rules of this world. He will master them, and one day, he will be more powerful than Albus Dumbledore. He will be the one in charge. By second year, Harry is a king in Slytherin. The revelation that he's a Parselmouth doesn't make him an outcast. It makes him a legend in the dungeons. He's the heir of Slytherin. And he leans into it, practicing the sibilant language, feeling the ancient magic coil inside him. And then he finds the diary, Tom Riddle's diary. For our Harry, it was a dangerous object. For this Harry, it's a user manual. He doesn't just talk to Tom. He finds a kindred spirit, a mentor. Tom Riddle, charming and brilliant, sees the ambition in Harry and waters it like a prized plant. He doesn't have to lie. He tells Harry the truth about their shared bloodline, their lonely childhoods, their isolation, and their incredible power. Riddle becomes the father figure Harry always craved, one who actually understands his hunger for greatness. He teaches Harry that prejudice against Muggle-borns isn't just bigotry, it's a political strategy. A way to create an enemy, rally a base, and consolidate power. For Harry, who's only ever known cruelty from Muggles, this logic clicks into place with a terrifying sense of rightness. The attacks on students don't really horrify him. He sees them as Tom described, a political tool, a way to create chaos and expose Dumbledore's weakness. He fakes his concern perfectly, but in private, he and Tom analyze the events like a chess game. When he finally enters the Chamber of Secrets, he's not a hero on a rescue mission. He's an heir coming home. The confrontation with Riddle isn't a battle. It's a meeting between a master and his star pupil. When Riddle reveals he's Voldemort, Harry feels no shock, only a deep sense of connection. Voldemort, Riddle says, is my past, present, and future. And Harry gets it. He still fights the basilisk. He has to. Ginny Weasley's death would bring Dumbledore's wrath down on him, and he has to maintain his cover. When Fawkes arrives with the sword of Gryffindor, he's momentarily confused, but he uses it. He kills the beast, then stabs the diary with the basilisk fang. But not before Tom gives him one last, knowing look, a look of pride. Harry has destroyed a Horcrux, but he's absorbed the philosophy. He leaves the chamber with a new understanding of power. He's seen how a piece of a soul can grant immortality. He's also learned from Voldemort's mistake. The diary was a vulnerability. When he makes his own Horcruxes, he'll be much smarter. He has just taken his first real step into the dark arts, not by casting a curse, but by mastering its ultimate philosophy, that a soul is not sacred, It is simply a tool. He now knows that to achieve true immortality, you don't just hide your soul, you weaponize it. The news of Sirius Black's escape from Azkaban triggers something cold and sharp in Harry. The world sees a mass murderer. Harry sees the man who betrayed his parents and sentenced him to 10 years of hell. This isn't about justice, it's about revenge. The desire to find and kill Black is a knot in his stomach. Professor Lupin's arrival is a pleasant surprise. Lupin is a damn good teacher, and Harry, ever the pragmatist, is eager to learn from the best, but the Dementors, they cripple him. That suffocating despair brings him right back to the cupboard, to being weak and helpless. He has to master fighting them, not just for safety, but to crush that feeling of powerlessness. Lupin teaches him the Patronus charm, a spell powered by a single, overwhelmingly happy memory. And Harry can't do it. What are his happy memories? The magic of Hogwarts is now tainted by ambition. His friendships are tools. His most powerful emotions aren't joy and love. They're rage and resentment. When he finally produces a corporeal Patronus, it's not a stag. It's a massive, shimmering king cobra. It hisses with cold power. Lupin is shaken, but Harry feels a surge of pride. His soul's guardian is a symbol of Slytherin's might. The climax comes in the shrieking shack. When the truth comes out, Sirius is innocent, and the traitor is Pettigrew. Harry's rage doesn't vanish. It just finds a new target. He looks at this pathetic, sniveling man who cost him everything, and all he feels is the desire to wipe him from existence. When Sirius and Lupin move to kill Pettigrew, Harry doesn't stop them. He doesn't say a word. He just watches, his face cold and expectant. It's Hermione who screams for them to stop, horrified, arguing that his father wouldn't have wanted it. Harry scoffs in his head. His father is dead. What he wanted is irrelevant, but he sees the logic. Killing Pettigrew here is messy. Exposing him, letting the Dementors have his soul. That's true justice, a public, terrifying spectacle. He agrees to spare Pettigrew, but only for strategic gain. When the Dementors attack them by the lake, he sees his past self failing and knows what to do. He summons his great silver cobra and unleashes a tidal wave of cold power, driving back 100 Dementors. He isn't just saving Sirius. He's asserting his dominance over fear itself. He helps Sirius escape, not just out of family loyalty, but because an exonerated Lord Black is a powerful political ally. As Sirius flies away, Harry's mind is stuck on the time turner Hermione saw a tool to save a life. Harry saw a device that could literally rewrite history. The ultimate tool of control, and he decides he needs to get his hands on one. But a device of that power would be heavily guarded. He couldn't steal it. He'd have to earn it, or be given it. He would need an opportunity, a grand stage where he could prove himself so invaluable that the world would give him anything he asked for. The Triwizard Tournament isn't a threat. It's a stage, a year-long international platform for him to showcase his power. When his name shoots out of the Goblet of Fire, he puts on a brilliant show of being terrified, but secretly, he's thrilled. This is the perfect narrative. The boy who lived, the tragic underdog, forced to compete. He tackles the tasks with a ruthless efficiency that unnerves everyone. For the first task, he doesn't just squeak by the dragon. He studies it, uses advanced magic to not just distract it, but to dominate it, forcing it to submit before he takes the egg. The crowd is stunned into silence by the sheer display of power. Ron and Hermione are now just assets. He plays on Ron's loyalty to keep a subordinate who won't ask hard questions. He uses Hermione's brain for research, treating her less like a friend and more like his most valuable resource. He sees her growing suspicion, but he knows she's too fundamentally good to ever truly abandon him. A weakness he exploits. The Yule Ball is a networking event. He takes Pansy Parkinson to shore up his power base in Slytherin and spends the night forging alliances, gathering intel, and projecting an aura of complete command. The second task is another masterclass. He uses Parseltongue to command the Grindylows, turning them into his personal escort. He retrieves Ron and then sees Fleur's sister, Gabrielle. Leaving her is bad optics. Saving her makes him look heroic. It's a simple calculation, but the graveyard, that's the real test. When he and Cedric land, and Cedric is killed with a casual flick of Pettigrew's wand, Harry doesn't feel grief. He feels a flash of irritation at a piece being needlessly swept off the board, but it's quickly replaced by ice-cold focus. Voldemort's return isn't terrifying. It's educational. Harry watches the ritual with a clinical eye, analyzing the raw magic, the sheer force of will. He feels fear, yes, but it's mixed with a dark, twisted respect. This is what it means to refuse to die. As Voldemort lectures his Death Eaters, Harry listens, studying their fear, Voldemort's command, he's taking notes. When they finally duel, the Priori Incantatem is a moment of pure clarity. The link between their wands, the echo of Voldemort's soul inside him. It all snaps into place. Voldemort isn't his nemesis. He is his rival. He's the old model, brutal, chaotic, and self-defeating. Harry knows, as he escapes with Cedric's body, that his own rise to power will be different. He won't be a monster. He'll be a king. He returns to Hogwarts as the perfect tragic hero, his mind already 3 moves ahead on a chessboard. Only he can see the Ministry's smear campaign, led by Fudge and the insufferable Dolores Umbridge, is the best thing that could have ever happened to him. They call him a liar, or worse, a new Dark Lord in training. The irony is delicious. By trying to isolate him, they give him the perfect excuse for everything he's about to do. They give him an enemy to unite people against. The piece of Voldemort's soul is no longer a burden. It's a battery he can draw from. His angry outbursts aren't teenage angst. They are calculated displays of righteous fury, designed to pull people to his side. When Umbridge takes over Hogwarts, she turns the school into a prison, and Harry happily lights the fuse. He doesn't just form a defense club, he forges an army. Dumbledore's army is a lie. This is Harry's army. The room of requirement becomes his fortress, his training ground. He's not a friendly teacher, he's a drill sergeant. He pushes them to their absolute limits, teaching them spells that aren't just defensive, but brutally effective curses designed to incapacitate and dominate. The Death Eaters won't play fair, he tells them, his voice sharp with logic. Neither will we. He builds a cult of personality around himself. Their loyalty isn't to some vague idea of good, it's to him. He's the one who was in the graveyard. He's the one who understands what it takes to win. He subtly paints Dumbledore as a well-meaning but weak old man. He shares stories of his childhood, twisting the narrative of the Dursleys' abuse into a parable. This is what happens when good people do nothing. Dumbledore left me there. He is a great wizard, but he will not protect you. I will. Too caught up in morality to fight a real war. The vision of Sirius being tortured is the spark, but he doesn't react with panic. He calmly gathers his best soldiers and plans a strategic infiltration of the Ministry. This is a mission, not a rescue. The battle in the Department of Mysteries is brutally efficient. Harry's team moves with a discipline that stuns the Death Eaters. But the tragedy is the same. Sirius, dueling Bellatrix, falls through the veil. Harry's grief is a flash fire, white-hot and all-consuming. But it doesn't break him. It hardens him. He hunts Bellatrix down, not with unfocused rage, but with the chilling precision of an executioner. When he corners her, he casts the Cruciatus curse. And this time, he means it. He pours a lifetime of pain and fury into the spell, and Bellatrix's screams fill the atrium. Dumbledore arrives to see Harry standing over Bellatrix's writhing body, his face a mask of pure, cold satisfaction. Voldemort appears, and for a moment, a new Dark Lord duels the old Harry's power is staggering, and he holds his own until Dumbledore intervenes. Back in Dumbledore's office, the prophecy is revealed. Neither can live while the other survives. For our Harry, this was a terrible burden. For this Harry, it's a coronation. It's not a death sentence. It's a declaration that the world only has room for one Dark Lord, and he has no intention of being the one who loses. With Dumbledore's influence gone and the wizarding world in chaos, Harry's 6th year becomes a masterclass in consolidating power. He's done playing by the rules of the school. He's playing a much bigger game now. He investigates the Half-Blood Prince's textbook, not out of curiosity, but because he recognizes the genius in its ruthless efficiency. He masters spells like Sectum Sempra, not with horror, but with a cold appreciation for a tool that works so well. He views Malfoy's mission as a weakness in the enemy's ranks, something to be exploited. His lessons with Dumbledore are no longer about understanding evil, they're opposition research. He studies Voldemort's past the way a CEO studies a competitor. When Dumbledore reveals the Horcruxes, a switch flips. Dumbledore sees abominations. Harry sees a brilliant concept, just poorly executed. Destroying Voldemort's Horcruxes isn't just about making him mortal. It's about eliminating the competition and clearing the board. He corners Slughorn to get the final memory, not with luck and charm, but with calculated psychological pressure, playing on the man's fear and guilt until he breaks. Dumbledore's death on the Astronomy Tower is the final chain breaking. As Snape kills the headmaster, Harry feels no betrayal, only the grim certainty that the old world is dying. As others mourn, Harry feels a profound sense of clarity. There is no one left to stop him. The Horcrux hunt isn't a desperate camping trip. It's a strategic military campaign. While Ron and Hermione think they're on a mission to save the world, Harry is also studying. He analyzes the magic of each Horcrux, learning from Voldemort's power and his mistakes. He doesn't just hide from the Ministry. He undermines it, leaking information and quietly building a network of spies and disillusioned wizards who are sick of both Voldemort's sadism and the Ministry's incompetence. He doesn't offer them a return to the past. He offers them a new world order built on strength and his leadership. The discovery of the Deathly Hallows adds the final piece to his grand strategy. The Elder Wand becomes his obsession, the ultimate symbol of mastery. The Battle of Hogwarts isn't a fight between good and evil. It's a three-way war of Voldemort's fanatics, the Ministry's broken remnants, and Harry's own army, a disciplined force of students and outcasts who believe only in him. He walks into the Forbidden Forest, not as a sacrifice, but as the ultimate strategic gambit. He knows he has to die to destroy the Horcrux inside him. His meeting with his loved ones at King's Cross isn't a comfort. It's a final goodbye to the boy he used to be. He chooses to return not as the boy who lived, but as the man who conquered death. His return is a masterpiece of political theater. He's carried from the forest, seemingly dead. Voldemort declares victory, and then Harry falls from Hagrid's arms, alive. The effect is biblical, a resurrection. He's no longer a hero, he's a myth made real. In the final duel, he doesn't just fight Voldemort, he dismantles him. He lectures him, exposing his ignorance about the Elder Wand's allegiance to prove his own superior power. When Voldemort's body falls, Harry stands alone, master of death, holding the Elder Wand. The war is over. His reign is just beginning. The world after Hogwarts is not one of celebration. It's one of stunned silence, of awe mixed with fear. Lord Potter, the man who conquered, seizes power. His logic is simple and impossible to argue with. The old ways failed. The Ministry was corrupt. Dumbledore was weak. Voldemort was a fool. They all let the world burn. Only he has the strength to build something new. His regime is one of absolute order. It's not based on blood purity, but on a brutal meritocracy. The only merit is magical power and unwavering loyalty to him. The strong and useful are rewarded. The weak are cared for, but utterly controlled. He dissolves the Wizengamot, replacing it with a council of his loyalists. He seizes control of Gringotts and the entire wizarding economy. The Daily Prophet becomes his personal news agency, hailing his reforms as a new golden age of peace. And for a while, it works. There are no more attacks. He even brings the Muggle world to heel, subtly infiltrating their governments and economies, controlling them for their own protection. He has created a world where no child will ever be abused or forgotten in a cupboard. But in this world, no one is free. His friends are his first casualties. Ron, horrified by Harry's tyranny, tries to start a resistance. He is captured swiftly and silently. In a twisted show of mercy, Harry doesn't kill him. He wipes his memory and exiles him to a quiet Muggle life, a ghost of a friend who no longer exists. Hermione lasts the longest, serving as his advisor, desperately trying to be his conscience. But when she refuses to approve his plans for magical surveillance and re-education camps, he deals with her too. He imprisons her in a vast, beautiful library, a gilded cage where she can read forever, but never influence the world again. She becomes a monument to his last shred of humanity, now discarded. Lord Potter stands alone, master of death, emperor of a world pacified by order and choked by fear. He has everything he ever wanted. He is powerful. He is in control. He will never be a victim again. And in the process, he became a far more terrifying monster than Voldemort, a monster who truly believes he is the savior, a dark lord wearing the face of a hero. The scar on his forehead is no longer a symbol of survival. It's the emblem of his crown. In the end, Harry's transformation came from a single, desperate need: to control a life defined by pain. He wanted to build a world where no one would ever suffer as he had. And in doing so, he built a cage for everyone. By destroying chaos, he destroyed choice. By ending fear, he ended freedom. The hero became the tyrant, not because he loved evil, but because he loved order more than anything else. He won the war, remade the world, and proved that the most dangerous evil is the one that believes it's doing good. But that leaves us with one last chilling question. Is a world of perfect safety worth the price of freedom? And looking back at that lonely boy in the cupboard, was this dark path really a fluke? Or was Lord Potter always waiting inside him for just one different choice to be made? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the dark side of your favorite stories, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. thanks for watching.